Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Hi there.
I know it's Friday, but we're going to be done soon, so let's start it. Would you like to take a seat? Okay, good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Good?
Good morning. Good morning.
And welcome to this session. This one is called Inspiring Community Action. Thank you for joining us. My name is Salima Fawarti. I'm the fellow for Climate Collab and also sustainability practitioner for Jacobs Engineering. I'm accompanied by this lovely expert. Okay, so we have Stephanie Gray. She's the president of Massachusetts Parents Teachers Association. And we have our dearest friend, my dearest friend, Rusty Russell, lecturer and a friend also. He does environmental law at Tufts University. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so now, as a sustainability practitioners or anybody that works in the field, one of the challenges we face is how do we get communities to get engaged, to understand the subject, and then how do we also increase community-based actions? So we have 3 winners today as part of this session, and then we're going to look at their proposal to see how you will be able to help in developing and taking this proposal further. Okay. So yes, please. So is everything okay? So the first proposal we have is Indicators of Sustainability by Marina Mancia Hernan, and she is in Argentina. It's a video one, and it's for 3 minutes. And then after that, we will have the expert commenting on it 2 minutes. Okay, there you go.
Climate change is the largest challenge that we face by humanity. Climate change is the largest challenge that we face by humanity. We cannot expect solutions to come from governments, business, or technology alone. We need every individual to help for the transition to a zero-carbon economy. Today, 50% of the world population is under 30 years old. Not only young people have the drive to disseminate and scale solutions, but also our generation and the ones to follow will be the most affected by climate change. The indicators for sustainability are a tool to activate young people to take action to address climate change in their communities. Through activities like surveys and experiments, they measure the community performance against also our generation best sustainability indicators in water quality, air quality, biodiversity, energy consumption, and climate change vulnerability. Through this research process, they identify problems and come up with action plans to tackle them. The results of their action projects and the data they collect are then shared with a wider audience through an online solutions platform, which helps young people exchange their solutions and make them easily replicable in other communities. Through this initiative, young people develop informed opinions to actively and meaningfully engage in local policy and decision making. The benefits of this initiative are twofold. First, it helps build a grassroots movement that will be better positioned to influence the policy-making process at the national level. At the same time, the action process that young people carry out will have a direct impact on the capacity of each community to adapt and mitigate climate change. We have developed the first set of indicators and are currently testing them in schools and youth groups in Córdoba. And we already have a pipeline of 15 schools that are ready to roll out the program in 2015. In order to move forward, we need 3 things. We need $15,000 to run our first year pilot. We need technical advice on data collection and processing. And we need web support to build our online solutions platform. We would also love to hear from you. Any feedback or suggestions that you have to help us improve our project would be most welcome. Thank you so much for supporting our project.
Okay. Thank you. Was it clear enough? Did you get to hear it clear enough? Okay. So what we will do is we will have the experts comment on how they can help, and then we will break down in groups to develop it further. Okay.
Thank you. So as far as getting things to coordinate on the ground level, a lot of times I have people ask me, what's in it for me? And as much as we all here in this room believe that our climate and environmental issues are huge, we have to get that into the community. So we have to find another hook sometimes for them. So is there scholarships, community service hours, pieces to that project to get kids engaged, particularly when they're in the high school age level? The younger kids will do it for the fun of it. The older kids are looking for what's in it for me, same with the parents. So a lot of things that we take a look at is those pieces. And then online advertisers, if you're doing an online platform, have advertisers to help you offset some of those costs.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephanie. That was terrific. I will just add a couple of points to that, and then we'll move on to our next winning proposal. I want to just talk briefly about the measurement process for indicators. This is a very promising proposal. It's fascinating. It's broad. It's probably scalable to a national level or beyond. I think there are some important questions that need to be answered or fleshed out in more detail, and you plan to do that with your testing process. I would urge you to not just test indicators. For example, you provide, as an example, measuring air quality either through low-cost air quality measurement devices. We need to establish what those are and how low the cost is. Or if those aren't available, simply by looking at the status of biologic indicators such as lichens. And I guess I'd want to know a little bit more about how that works in terms of judging current air quality. So I have some questions about how the indicators are going to work, and I think that needs to be fleshed out. But there are other issues as well. Just as Stephanie says, how to stimulate students of different age groups. It may be that things in Cordova are exactly the same as they are in the Plymouth PTA, but if they're not, we want to see how that influences parents and how parents might later influence the political process in Argentina. Those are all open questions. They're important ones, but they're not insoluble. They really represent the next step.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, let's give her a hand for the. Thank you very much. Please stay online. Okay, so the second one we have is Dave Finnegan. He's here with us, and he'll be presenting his proposal on climate change is elementary, called Huge Green Fundraiser for Schools.
Sure.
About 3 minutes to present. Thank you.
Okay, hi. I'm David Finnegan, and for the last few years I've been creating a program called Climate Change is Elementary, where we go into elementary schools at the behest of the PTA and the principal, and we spend a day and work with first the teachers, then the kids, a grade level at a time. Each grade gets a piece of the climate change puzzle. So one grade gets to become penguins wandering around the Antarctic, and one gets to be polar bears, and one gets to be trees in the rainforest. So they have a lot of fun learning because we teach the way they learn: kinesthetic, spatial, interpersonal, musical, environmental learners. Then at the end of the day, we have an all-school assembly. In the all-school assembly, the kids get to act out what they've learned and put the whole world together, talking about the frogs and the trees and the rainforest and so forth. That evening, the parents come in. The kids and parents sit down together, and they create their Green Action Checklist. And the Green Action Checklist is all the things you need to do in order to be a good climate citizen. We've done this program now in 40 schools, 23 of them. We've done the entire program, including the parent part. We've done that in 8 states, mostly up here in New England and down in Florida. And what we've discovered is, yes, the parents and kids do fill out their family sustainability checklist, but do they take action? So based on that, we've created the Green Action Card. The Green Action Card is used locally or nationally eventually in every store, like Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Sears, where after you've made your purchases, you run your Green Action Card, and your school gets a rebate based on your purchases of water-saving and energy-saving devices and services. We've got an experiment that we ran in Maryland where we got vendors, for instance, people who put solar panels on your roof, who will give a $1,000 rebate to the school if the family either rents, buys or leases solar energy. Why do they do that? Because the cost to acquire a customer is about $3,000. So we say, give $1,000 to the school, we'll get you customers. So the schools make money like they do for box tops for education without those pesky box tops. And schools can make a huge amount of money with this if they do it right. The local Ace Hardware will use their own value card. We call this a loyalty card for the planet. Well, Ace Hardware has their own loyalty card, so they'll use their own loyalty card, but then they'll give a percentage back to the school for purchases by families. So we're talking to all of the major retailers about this. $3 trillion are going to get spent over the next 2 decades retrofitting the homes and transportation networks of America. And what we'll do is help to accelerate that. We stand between the vendor and the school, and we get a small percentage for our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Experts? Dave, you get to sit down here.
Yes.
Yes. The winners sit here. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Dave. I'll go first. We'll be even briefer. Dave's proposal is the most developed of the 3 we've looked at, in my opinion. Might be wrong. Fascinating proposal. It's complete. It's a little bit more expensive than the others. We're talking about $100,000, but if it may well be worth it. Number of issues. I'm going to leave for Stephanie comments about the educational process and how this works, because I'm thinking I teach graduate students, and frankly, I'm ready to maybe dress up like a polar bear to try to get them to pay attention. So I am getting some ideas here, but I'm not sure I'm an expert on other classroom techniques. The issue, or an important issue that needs to be field tested, of course, and this is happening, so I want to point that out and say bravo to you, Dave, for doing that, is how tightly the connection can be made between home and monitoring of climate change and use of the loyalty cards by students and their parents and other organizations on the one hand, and on the other hand, the demand for the demand isn't quite the right word, but the number of retailers that are out there that make these cards valuable. The more we have, the more users we'll have. We will have a positive cycle. Can we make that happen? That's the big question. Your thoughts on how to sort of ramp up will be really important.
Thank you. So because you specifically mentioned PTAs, this was quite a hot topic for me. But so a couple of things that I'm looking at here. You seem to be focused a lot on elementary school kids, which is fabulous. Right. That's a great place to get started. But with the green card, I'd like to see you develop a little bit more of that following up with families. And when children move from one school to the next, are we following up? Do we continue to have that green card coming back? Does the green card then switch to a different school? How do we do that? Currently, a number of our PTAs use Stop and Shop. When you shop at Stop and Shop and you use your card, there's a fund that goes back to, amount of money that goes back to the school, but we have to continually update that, and how does that look, and what does that look like? So I'd be interested in some of those pieces. I'm interested in, too, the number of parents that actually come to the parent program in the evening.
We get about 40%.
Which is very good, so I would look at some different ways to get people to do that are fun and exciting, but inner city versus, or urban versus suburban versus rural participation can vary greatly. So
our focus is suburban. We want to work with the villains, not the victims.
No problem. We're just, those are some of the issues that we have. And even in the suburban communities, we do have some issues with parents trying to manage all of those things and trying to get them to come do fun things, which it looks like you do have some of that there. We have some other models that we currently have here in Massachusetts. The Bay State Textiles is one of them that we're using. They help take textiles out of the recycling stream. And they have a cashback program that works really well. I'd love to have you talk to them about that as well. And they put out a challenge. When they first initiated in the school districts, they put out a challenge to all the schools in the district, who can beat the number? And the school with the most got an incentive back. for the programming or something like that, which was really a great program. So there's a lot of those pieces that I'd love to see and talk to you about.
Let me respond to that last thing, if I could take another few seconds. We want to create a social network that includes a closed social network for every classroom so that the kids can go on there and take their family sustainability checklist, post it on the social network, and then show their friends what they're doing. And then they get badges and awards and points for taking action. So that's one of the things we need to spend money on, is to create that social network.
I'm sure we'll have more time when we sit in groups to develop it further. Thank you very much. Give it a hand to the second proposal. Now, the third one we have is Synergies of Reforestation and Community Empowerment in Kenya. Apparently, Tobias cannot make it, but I understand that some representatives of this group are here. Am I correct? No. Okay, but no worries. We still have the video. He sent the video and we can look at it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on a forest walk in Marmanet today. You may wonder, what forest? Everything you see was covered in trees only 40 years ago, as much of Kenya was. Now, 75% of these forests have been destroyed, leading to disastrous consequences. Not only is the Marmanet forest home to hundreds of rare species, but also functions as a water tower for East Africa. The highland forests are needed as water catchment areas for major lakes such as Lake Victoria, the source of the Nile. Without them, rivers and lakes are cut off from their water supply. As landscapes turn into deserts and people become poorer and poorer, conflict is just a matter of time.
In a world where we consume ever more goods and emit more and more greenhouse gas, forests as carbon sinks are more important than ever. And it seems like our planet is heading straight for the abyss, unless we stop it.
In a highly interconnected world, our local actions often have economic, social, and environmental repercussions throughout the world. The good news is, this means that we can have positive impact on a global scale as well.
When I came to Kenya for half a year, I was impressed with the proactivity and the entrepreneurial spirit of the youth.
The Kenyan government gives us 100 hectares for 30 years at no cost, under the condition that we manage to plant 100,000 trees.
We are people who live here, and we have to take the concern seriously. We have to recognize the fact that there's a reason which made people to cut down trees in the first place.
We are working together with the Kenyan Forest Research Institute, environmental groups, and scientists from all over the world, bringing together local knowledge and scientific insights.
70% of Kenyans in my generation are unemployed. To make them part of our initiative, employ them in the reforestation, and help them develop business models like mushroom farming, beekeeping, or ecotourism. These activities are meant to finance the forestation project.
We will tell the story of those change makers to the whole world. Our team is working on 3 continents, and we will pull more people in.
We do not only want to bring back the trees to these 100 hectares. This is just the beginning. We understand Marmanet as a microcosm. Our goal is to develop a model for sustainability that can be taken to different places.
As a supporter, you will receive seeds from which you can grow an original Kenyan tree while we plant and nurture the first of Marmanet. So you can literally grow Marmanet forest in your kitchen.
This is an initiative about small actions that can have a large impact. It's all about taking the momentum and not standing still.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and share your interest.
Join our team.
Become a business coach for young change makers in Kenya.
Talk about this, get people involved, but people can donate and convince them to do something.
You can help make this walk a real walk in the woods.
It's up to all of us. It's up to you.
Okay, since we don't have Tobias with us, what we can do is on the piece of paper that I gave you out, if you please write down how you'll be able to help, and we'll make sure that they get it. So if you have any idea on how you'll be able to help, but before that, we will have the experts say how you'll be able to help.
Well, I know that the makers of it are not here, but that was a great video. Really shows some major communication skill. Very, very impressive. I'm ready to sign up, and I'd love to know sort of what color of precise color of paint they use for those lovely blocks. The question I have is, I think this is a great idea. There's huge climate change advantage to be had in reforestation, afforestation, or even forest maintenance. So it's great. It's a collaboration, across the continent. So it's very, very impressive. My questions or my suggestions in terms of strengthening it is that it's a little bit vague about how scalable this would be. The concept is powerful. The reality may be less so without some hardcore testing, without some precise sense of how to scale up Marmonet Forest, where you're getting 100 free hectares of land plus 100,000 trees from somewhere, into something that would be meaningful in Kenya or across Africa. I mean, there are very, very big goals here, but this is I don't know if I'd call it a classical project, but I think a classical situation where the issue of scalability is very important. So I would urge the team to focus very, 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 very hard-nosed way on that question.
Again, a fabulous video. Really, they did a great job on that and presenting all of their information in a clear and concise way. I love that part of that is an educational piece and giving people jobs so that they are buying in. Again, I'm going to get back to that what's in it for me piece, and really teaching them a lifestyle and encompassing their economic pieces as well. And I think that that is a model that we can certainly take to other environments that would be phenomenal. I'd love to see them talk a little bit more about maybe partnering with something like the National Arbor Day Foundation, where in the US at least, we're used to the kids come home with a tree. You send in money, the kids come home with a tree, you plant it in your yard or someplace in your neighborhood, that kind of model. And even have the tree that you purchase here maybe help support a tree someplace else, which they did do in the seeds, but really kind of take that out to the schools where the kids are feeling like they make an impact in their own communities and they make an impact in somebody else's communities, and kind of crossing those barriers between countries and more cultural information back and forth. So I think that would be a great thing to discuss further with them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, how we're going to proceed is, yes, you have, please.